Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you for joining us on History FM Radio on liveparanormal.com and history.fm. From paranormal to the unexplained history, it all happens here. Looking to enhance your radio experience? Participate in live interactive chat 24/7 with our radio show hosts and other like-minded people on www.liveparanormal.com, the only interactive social chat room supported by full interactive media. Stop by now and join in on the fun.
The views expressed here within the programs and chats do not necessarily represent the views of liveparanormal.com.
You're listening to Live Paranormal Radio at liveparanormal.com. You are listening to Shriekfest Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Shriekfest Radio. This is Denise Gossett, your hostess for the evening. I'm also the festival founder and director. Shriekfest is a horror, thriller, sci-fi, fantasy film festival, screenplay competition. We have a music video category, and we're celebrating our 17th year, and pretty exciting. So Shriekfest Los Angeles will be October 5th through the 8th. Mark your calendars. Even if you don't have a project to submit this year, please come on down, check it out. You will love it. Great parties, wonderful people, amazing films. People come when they don't have projects to get inspired and to meet other people to collaborate with. It's really pretty exciting how it all plays out at the festival. It's just a really lovely energy there. And Shriekfest Orlando is October 21st. Yes, that is true. I just said Shriekfest Orlando. We are now bi-coastal, which is super exciting because I grew up in Florida most of my life, and so I consider it kind of my hometown. And I'm really super excited to bring a one-day event to Orlando. My friends and family will be able to check it out. It'll be really exciting. And so when you submit now, your film has the chance to screen in 2 different cities, which I think is really cool because it's almost like having, a theatrical release. We get 2 cities. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, our website, shriekfest.com, May 1st is coming up, guys. That's our regular entry date. Entry fees go up after that, so you want to get it in. So after May 1st, you have July 1st and then July 10th, but they go up quite a bit because it's, really getting closer to the festival. We have to get them in so we can get through them all. So May 1st, if you can get it in, get them in. And like I was saying, I told you the genres. Some people don't know we also have a short screenplay category. So get those short scripts in. Sometimes short scripts are really hard to write because they're short. You got to get in and get out in a short amount of time, and that's what makes them really fun too. All right, guys, let's see. We have a monthly newsletter you can sign up for at our website. We are on Twitter, Shriekfest. We are on Facebook. Come give us a like and a follow. We'd appreciate that. And tonight's call-in number, if you have a question for me or for my guests, is 347-202-0316, 347-202-0316. And if you're shy and you would rather not be on the air, but you have this burning question, you can send it to @Shriekfest on Twitter, or you can send it to shriekfest@AOL.com, and I will periodically glance at those and get your questions answered. All right, I am super excited. I have 2 guests tonight, both directors. They had a film in Shriekfest 2016 a short film called Borderline. So tonight I have Kieran Shea and David Osorio. And let's see, I think we have Kieran on the line. Welcome to Shriekfest Radio.
Hey, Denise. I have David here with me, too. So.
Oh, you're both there. Wonderful. Excellent. Because I was looking at it going, okay, I only see one number. Maybe they teamed up. How you guys doing?
Great. How you doing?
Doing great. It's been a while. I mean, I see your posts on Facebook and stuff, but we haven't actually talked since the festival. Have you guys been good?
Yeah, doing okay. Just working hard. Yeah.
Good. That's what I like to hear. So first, I want to find out, I mean, you guys have really interesting backgrounds, live in different places, and didn't initially, at least you, Kieran, you didn't initially think of film, from what I'm understanding.
No, that's
Why don't you talk a little bit about that and how you got into this industry, and then, David, you can talk about it as well.
Cool. Well, initially I was in science. I was going into genetics.
Wow.
And then after, I love the study of it. And then when I got this opportunity to work at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center over in their genetics area for an internship. And after being there for a couple of weeks, I realized that I loved the study of it way more than the actual application. So
really?
So that was kind of a shock at the time, and I had to sort of do a lot of soul searching, and I always wanted to do stuff in film, even as a little kid, so I thought, well, if I'm going to switch, it might as well be that. So that's
Oh my gosh, Kieran. Okay, before you go any farther, I mean, because this is huge. This really is huge. You thought you were on your purpose. You were passionate, and you had your goal. Your family knew you had your goal. And then what happened? You realized this. Now, how the heck? Because, we all soul search practically on a daily basis, making decisions in our lives. How did you, because I could see myself going, no, you're already on this path. Just suck it up and do it, So what'd you go through?
Well, I was like I said, I was in this lab, and there were other people working, other interns, and what I noticed was that a lot of these kids, every day were really, really excited, doing all sorts of things there, and I found myself looking at my watch a lot. Wondering if it was 5 o'clock. And when that happened, I realized that something wasn't right. So after that, I spoke to the internship people, and when I realized that I wanted to just pursue my dream, they put me in a different internship. But did you even know
that was kind of a dream at that point?
Yeah, I think I'd known for a while, but because, like you said, I'd been doing it for, at that point, 3 years, I just kind of was sort of determined to get to the end of it, I guess. But then I realized when I was there that at best I would be a mediocre geneticist. At worst I would. So I sort of had to do it. And when I got back to the apartment, it was hilarious because the guy that was my roommate for the program, he was really, really happy with his internship. He was working at a government office somewhere in D.C. And he came in and, he told me about his day. And then he was like, well, what did you do today? Well, I just switched my careers completely.
I think he was looking for things were fine. Things are fine today. I don't think he was looking for that answer.
No. He was pretty shocked.
Wow. And then, so how'd that phone call to your parents go?
Well, I have to be careful what I say because I suspect that at some point my mom will be listening to this. So,
Hi, Mom.
Conversation, it actually went really well. I'm sure at the time, and especially, she probably was a little less than thrilled by the news, but she took it very well. Her response essentially was, well, take a step back and we'll, figure out where to go, rather than letting her emotions get the best of her.
Right.
I also called my university, the honors program director, who had helped me get the internship, and he was very enthusiastic actually about the whole thing, and he was happy to help. So it all turned out in the end.
So now, so after all this happens, do you feel like immense pressure to succeed in this new career now?
Yeah, there is a little bit of that, and I've been working out here for a while now. I started off as an AD, so you can definitely feel that pressure. I definitely feel that pressure. Like I kind of need for something to a little win here and there is always good.
Right. Now, David, you kind of had an interesting growing up too, because your mom had a career with Dole Fresh Food, and so you were living in Costa Rica, Philippines, all over the place. Did you always know you wanted to get into the film industry?
No. I traveled a lot because of my parents' job and got to see the world, and it definitely gave me a perspective from the outside. I was definitely the observant kind of kid, and it definitely allowed me to be, I don't know, I guess more introspective. But in high school, I liked writing. All my English language and British lit teachers always complimented me on my writing, but I didn't know that writing was a career. Like, I honestly didn't. I thought, you were, let's say, an attorney, and then on the side you wrote a book. Like, I had no idea that you could just dedicate your life to being a writer. It just didn't cross my mind. So I entered college as a poli-sci economics major, but at Carnegie Mellon, I took my first creative writing class and was hooked. And then realized, oh, hey, I can do this for the rest of my life. I love this. And just went in that direction full bore.
And then you went to get a degree in film at Florida State University. Now, when you were doing all this writing and you loved this writing, at what point did you think, hey, I think I want to make films?
I've always loved movies, and I saw film as an extension of writing. It's a different kind of expression.
Right.
I had a few great teachers in Carnegie Mellon that taught, that also were working screenwriters as professors, and they just kind of like allowed me to see that it was just sort of an extension in a lot of ways of writing. And then once I got into Florida State, they teach you production backwards and forwards. They have you do every position from catering on up to directing.
Nice.
And then you get a full appreciation of the collaborative art that is filmmaking. Because as a writer, you're really kind of alone in a dark room by yourself, trying to spit out words and put out stories. But as a filmmaker, you have to use different muscles and collaborate and talk to people and get along and agree, and a lot of times disagree, to get something off the ground and tell a story.
Sure. Wow. Okay, so then you go to school, and I love the films that come out of there. Really. Whatever you guys got going on over at that school, they're amazing films. Really?
Well, it involves no sleeping usually, but
yeah,
and
they
like
really
you said,
have a great program.
Yeah, they do, and I love that they have you do every aspect of filmmaking, because then you learn it all, you respect it all.
Mhm. No, absolutely. when we came out here, we were surprised that we know that USC has a good school and everything, but we were surprised that they weren't working with their own classmates. Like a lot of us worked on USC short films.
Yeah,
sure.
I AD'd. Actually, I got paid to AD a couple of USC films, even an AFI film, which to me at the time I was sort of flabbergasted, but they were paying me a little bit of money, so I was like, okay.
Wow.
And it's no coincidence that a movie like Moonlight with Barry Jenkins from FSU also had other FSU in key positions like cinematography and editing because of the bonds that you get, you create at school. And Kieran and I included, that's where we met, and we're working together because of that interaction that we had at school.
Now, Kieran, okay, so you've made this life-changing decision. What made you pick Florida State?
I don't know that it was so much picking Florida State. I submitted to a few schools, and Florida State was the one that responded. And I was living in Florida at the time also, and I went in for the interview, and I really liked it when I got there. So once we went through the interview process and everything, I was really hopeful. And then I sort of lucked out because the reality is that I was an alternate. They only pick, unless something has changed between the time that we graduated and now, the way that it used to work anyway is that for the grad program, they would only pick, 24 people per class, for one class for that year. And I was not among the initial 24. The only reason I was fortunate to get in is because at least one person from that original list decided not to accept or go elsewhere. So, and it turned out to be for the best because I honestly agree with Dave. I think it is the best film school program out there because of how they teach you. They throw you in the deep end of the pool, and you kind of sink or swim. So.
Okay, I love this because both of you have stories that, like, you think you're going one way, and then the universe kind of, slightly nudges you and puts you in another direction, which turns out to be the best. Like, they always say hindsight's 20/20, but wow. And then you guys met and obviously became good friends and worked together because you've been doing it for a while now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What was the very first thing you guys worked on together?
Was it my short?
In film school, you mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Anything.
Yeah, I guess it was your short. Yeah, you're short then.
Yeah, it was my short. It was also it was the second short that I worked on at school, but it was my short that we did.
Yeah.
I had Kieran was doing my production design. And in that one, I had a guy walking on water for whatever reason. So Kieran had to get into a swamp and with alligators and everything and make sure a guy walked on water.
Yeah. In retrospect, I may not do that today. But at the time, I was a little dumb. So
yeah, trial by fire,
Yeah, and Kieran, didn't you say you lived in Florida for a while? So you know that any water in Florida has a gator.
Exactly.
Surprisingly, not the first time either. There was a second time we got into a lake for somebody else.
Yeah, it was Brierly's movie. Yeah. You were producing that one.
Yeah.
Dave basically likes to throw me in gator-infested waters, except in that case he went in with me, so I'll give him props for that one.
Oh, there we go. He was right there with you. You both would have been attacked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then would you have turned on the camera though?
Well, we had at the
I'm
time
kidding.
Probably not. Well, that's the thing is that even if it was a serious question, like there were no cell phones that had cameras at the time that I know of. Right?
Sure. We were using film at the time. Film was expensive.
Yeah.
We would not have turned it on.
Although that might make
so
a
you
good
guys.
movie.
So you guys are there, you've met each other, you've clicked, and you start writing together. And So once you leave school, then what was the plan? Go to California?
We kind of took circuitous routes to California. Well, I think, Kieran, you went right away.
Yeah, I essentially came out here pretty much as soon as I graduated. My folks had just moved to the Bay Area, so I went there first for a couple months, and then I came down to LA, and then I sort of started. I got a phone call from another classmate of ours who was working on a short, and they needed a second AC. And even though, the camera department isn't necessarily my forte, I could do the second AC job. So I took it, and then when I was there, the AD on that show told me that she was really a script supervisor and was doing that as a favor. And when she found out that I could script supervise, asked me if she could call me for a job if she had to step away from the set or anything one day. So I gave her my information, never imagining that she would call. And about a week or two later, she called. She was on this Bollywood sort of production over in what's that? Well, it's north of here, north. Well, anyway, it was a Bollywood production. And she was sick or something, so I went in, and when I was there, everything was going crazy, and they needed a second AD, so they hired me on the spot. So the next day she showed up on set, and she's like, "What are you still doing here?" And then I did AD work after that. So.
Oh my gosh! So you barely get to LA, and you're already on sets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I was a little
Kieran,
gun shy about. Sorry, go ahead.
Kieran, it doesn't always work that way,
No. I'm fully aware of that. It was good experience,
okay, so then
working a lot of indie features. So. Yeah.
So then, so now David, you're coming to LA. So how long after Kieran got there and he's working all his magic and getting on these sets? How long after that did you get to LA?
It would be, I think, almost a full year, just about, because what happened was that I started writing a project with another classmate of ours, Eduardo Rodriguez, an amazing horror director, and we just wrote a script in 20 days, really fast, and it just happened to be picked up by Miramax Dimension at the time, the Weinsteins, based off of Eduardo's very, very amazing short Daughter. So he got a lot of attention right away, and then the script sold. And I didn't really realize how rare that kind of thing is. So I don't know why I was gun shy about LA. I went to Atlanta first. Because I was also very interested in music videos at the time. I thought that there was very interesting short story sort of format. And then pretty quickly found out that all the music videos in Atlanta, they brought the crew in from LA. So at the end of the day,
right,
go to LA.
Oh no.
So that's how
I think it's maybe a little bit different now because Atlanta's building up so much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. But at the time, this was 2001,
sure.
2002. Yeah, there was, I don't know. At the time, it took me a little bit to get to LA. But once I was here, fell in love. I'm here. I'm an LA person. I've never actually lived anywhere longer than 4 years before I came to LA.
Really?
Yeah, we moved around a lot when I was a kid.
Wow. Okay, so now you're both finally in LA, and are you guys writing together at this point, or what's happening?
Kieran's doing AD for a while. I'm doing writing on the side. I did a few projects on the side with Eduardo, some on my own, and just it got to a point where I don't know. There wasn't I think Kieran was getting tired of set work. And I myself was just sort of I don't know, it wasn't clicking, and I felt like I needed to find a new path. So I loved Kieran's work back in film school, I always thought that he was a great writer, and so I called him up and I was like, let's see if we can figure something out together. And he was like, sure. So we tried to find our middle ground, because he's a comedy writer and I tend to sort of hit every genre. So we ended up agreeing that Edgar Allan Poe was something there was a writer we both really liked. So we decided to do sort of a feature script based on Edgar Allan short stories.
Yeah. So, and then after that, we tried that out and we sent it to to a few competitions, and it won the American Screenwriting Competition.
Whoa.
So from that, we got a little bit of buzz off of that. We wrote a different script afterwards that was based on one of the Greek stories, and that took us to the Henson Company, and we after that we got representation. So that's sort of how we sort of got. And then we've just been writing ever since. Yeah.
Now you guys do realize that people listening are going, oh, well, that's all it takes.
No.
You guys are making it sound so easy. Oh yeah, I moved to LA, got a job right away, got representation.
It's easy, but it's years in the making for sure.
Plus, here's the thing: the job right away that I got, it paid extremely little, even the 3 or 4 years that I did it. So I had to do side jobs that had nothing to do with movies, and even now, I work as a translator. So hoping to one of these days veer away from that, but until then, it's tough because you need to survive, you need to eat, and you need to follow your passion also.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
now, when you say you're a translator, for what do you mean? Language, I assume, but doing what?
Yeah, Spanish to English and English to Spanish. I'm half Hispanic, so I lived in South America for a number of years, and I create subtitles for movies and TV shows.
So it's still in the industry.
In a sort of in a peripheral way.
Right.
The folks that they don't really consider themselves to be too much in the industry because it's all it's sort of post. You get everything already completed, and you basically either transcribe it or translate it and send it out for whether it's DVDs or captions on TV, that kind of thing. But you do get to see something sometimes before others do.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay, so now we get to talk about Borderline.
Yay.
Love Borderline. Where'd this idea come from, guys?
Well, it's more than a couple of years now, but a few years back, was a news article about the coyote is like a guy who sort of traffics or helps people cross the border. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. And so there was this coyote guy, and he had kind of like a semi truck full of people, and he thought he was being chased by the border patrol, and just abandoned the truck in the desert.
Oh gosh!
And many people died, like 40 people died, and there's it's a horrific story where it's like people were like trying to like claw out of this truck, and it was an image that stayed with us for a long time. We didn't know what to do with it, stories about the border, and it's something that appeals to us because obviously we're Latino, but also the duality of being here and having multiple cultures, and it's just there's a lot to mine there in that subject, but we didn't want it to be a social movie. That's not what we're interested in.
Right.
So we were trying to figure out what best way to tell that story, and we fell upon horror, because horror allows you to do something that other genres really don't, and it allows you to sort of tell a genre piece, and still be able to hit a lot of social points and not feel like you're being hammered over the head with it.
Very true. Very true, because it doesn't come across as like we're trying to make a point here, but it's still jarring. Like, you feel for these poor people, and I didn't realize that it actually happened. How horrible. And then it allows you to get the revenge side too.
Correct, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of rage and anger in the subject of, and at least with adding some scares and things in it and the rage, you're able to tell a story that hopefully, you enjoy yourself, it's entertainment, but also at the same time you kind of get a different perspective on the subject.
Right. Now, Kieran, you've done some acting as well. Is that something that when you came to LA you thought you wanted to do, or did you just fall into it, or how did that play out?
I still, like every other crazy person in this town, I still would like to do that. I actually never pursued it seriously, which is probably why, I've done so little of it. I've done it here and there, a couple background extra kind of stuff. I've sort of acted in some shorts where I was the lead and stuff, but nothing that would have had a lot of, wide circulation. But yeah, I mean, I still would like to do it, and I still am sort of aiming to do some more acting. But again, it becomes a time issue, because you have your 9-to-5 job, and then you have, the writing and so many other things that we're working on, that it just makes it a little difficult. But as far as appreciating actors, it does give you a whole other, it makes you appreciate actors a lot. I took an acting class when I was out here, mainly just to sort of get another perspective from it.
Sure.
And I really enjoyed it, and I have a lot of actor friends, so it does help as a filmmaker when you know what the actor is trying to do or where he or she is coming from. So.
Yes. And it's so enjoyable to work with a director who has done that.
Yeah, and it's not easy what they do, and sometimes I end up, even with some friends, I end up having arguments because when you're not in film, you don't realize how hard certain jobs are. And,
right.
I have people that I know who are not in the film industry who initially used to think that acting was just really easy and it was goofing off. And I've had arguments with people over that because it's not easy at all. So.
Right, and the projects that do just use anybody or their buddies down the street or whatever, you can tell.
Yep. That is true.
What about you, David? Any desire to act?
Oh, no, I think I am very much an introvert in that respect. I can do public speaking when called upon.
Sure.
But I think, that's I'm a behind the camera type of guy. Even in the family photos and all that stuff, I am
You're
the
one hiding in the back.
I will do anything possible to not be in front of the camera.
That's true. It's hard to get a picture with Dave. Yeah.
Well, Kieran, how come? What was that?
I said, I, on the other hand, am greedy and I want to do everything, so I'll jump in front of the camera if need be. If nobody
Kieran,
tosses me out of the way.
How come you weren't in Borderline?
We had so many hats that we were wearing. Plus, for the short, that it's tough when you're having to produce, direct, write, do locations. there.
Yeah.
And I was also script souping.
Oh gosh.
But even more than that, I would say also, this particular version, the short of Borderline, there really weren't any roles that I would be good for anyway. So it would have, I would have felt like I'd be forcing myself on the project when really it didn't require me. So. Right. Plus, Dave probably would have said no, and he's stronger than I am. So.
So what kind of advice would you give to people who, they're getting out of film school, or maybe they skipped film school altogether and they want to make a short film? What would your advice be to them?
Well, luckily for people coming into the business these days is that, heck, even an iPhone camera is good enough to make a short film with. Like
I know, isn't it crazy?
So the media is no longer a barrier into entry. So at the end of the day, the biggest hurdle is just going out and doing it. And so that's my biggest advice. I give it to anybody, is just to go and do it. Just set aside the time. And even ourselves, when we were doing Borderline, we were like, we hemmed and hawed a little bit. We were like, maybe we could get a little bit more money for this or that. Or at the end of the day, we just said, okay, we gave ourselves a weekend that we were doing it, and that was it. And we set our goal, and that's when we did it.
Yeah, that's great. And, that's the thing. It's never going to be perfect, like what you would consider perfect. And if you wait for that perfect opportunity or perfect script or perfect whatever, you're never going to do it. So I love that. Yeah. That's your advice, to just go start.
Yeah, and also don't be afraid to, like, anybody that in the industry, if they have a little more experience than you, they can help you, even if it's with some advice. So don't be afraid to seek that help out. We were lucky that we had a really strong team, and it just stemmed from the fact that we were friends with with Wolfram Parge, who's our producer, who happens to be very good friends with filmmaking, who is a fantastic cinematographer. He's been working for 50 years. He shot Casino Royale and a bunch of other big movies. And they're super nice guys, and they helped us. They came on board as producers. Phil shot it.
Wow.
And that just came about because we asked for help. Yeah, that was it.
Right.
Yeah. Once you start talking about it and get people excited, it kind of like it's like a force. An energy gets put out there, and it's attracting other energies, and it's. I mean, I don't mean to sound so hippy-dippy, but...
No, it's absolutely true.
Just putting it out there, and it will bring good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And so what would you say to people out there that don't have a script but want to start? Just put anything down or find some... What would you do?
Yeah, I would...
Well, if writing is not your strong suit, then find somebody who it is. Get partnered up, because you're going to have to collaborate at some point. You may, like in my case, get a working partner, a working relationship that is fruitful for many, many years, and hopefully many more years to come.
Sure.
So if writing isn't what you do, just get out there and talk to people. Start building that team, because, but I think at the end of the day, everybody has a story to tell. So try putting it down on paper at first, see what happens.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is even if writing is your thing, the first thing that you write is typically really bad. So you need to write it down and get it out of your system.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the advice our writing teachers gave us. And at first, I got to be honest, I didn't believe them, because you spend like so much time on that first script. It's like precious, and you think the ideas are just amazing. And then you let it sit for a little while, and you go back to it, and you realize, okay, yeah, that was just me learning, and you kind of shelve it. That first script is just the one that sort of sets you going on your path.
Yep, that momentum, got to get it going.
Mhm. Yeah, because once you do the first one, also the next one becomes a lot less daunting, and it goes a lot faster.
Yeah, especially in a technical writing field like script writing, because it's not like novel writing. Script writing has a lot to do with structure and the technical aspects of it, like just the slug lines and the action lines and the dialogue, where all that fits in. The first time you write it takes you longer because you're not really sure where things go, and you want to be sort of right about it. And then after a while, once you've got that down, it just becomes internal. You internalize all that mechanics, and then now you can tell your story without having to worry about where all that stuff goes, because it's easy now.
Makes sense. Now, okay, so you mentioned that you shot Borderline in a weekend.
Correct.
How much pre-production did you have once you guys finished the script?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what, I didn't really stop to, because we were sort of working on it for a while, so I'm not sure. Do you have a guesstimate, Dave?
That's a good question. I think let's say we wrote the script with the idea of trying to make it sort of like lower budget, easier to shoot. So we knew we wanted a one location sort of situation. Mm-hmm. So we had that going for us. Now, we thought, actually, I think we thought we could do it in a day or a day and a half, and Phil was the one who was like, yeah, it's going to take at least 3 days, and he was totally right.
Phil basically said, you two are crazy.
It cut out. So I would say prep time, if we were really to do it, maybe a week and a half in terms of finding the location and getting the props together, like the Border Patrol,
the vehicles,
and all that stuff, the uniforms, the gun. Luckily, LA is a kind of town that you can find all that stuff pretty quickly and pretty inexpensively.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard.
And
did you go to the costume places? I mean, they're massive and they have everything.
Yeah. And where we found our Border Patrol costume was, he does more indie movies, and he had like all these great, like he had the guns and everything too, all
really?
licensed and stuff. But he did more. He wasn't like the studio one where you had to go to the Warner Brothers lot type stuff. This guy had it kind of ran out of his house, but it was like a big house. Like it was like he had a lot of stuff for years and more indie stuff, and that was helpful for us because budget-wise it was great, and we could we had the pick of the litter in terms of what we wanted in uniforms and things like that. So
and then also a lot of the local people were very helpful too. Once we got there, we found a local guy who let us rent out his ATV, and just reaching out to the local people where you're shooting is also helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you shoot?
We shot in near 29 Palms. We rented we knew we didn't want to do permits because permits can be a headache, so we decided to go on a private property. So we reached out to a house on VRBO, which is like an Airbnb, and they have this like beautiful house on 100 acres right next to Joshua Tree.
Wow.
And we literally just emailed the guy and said, listen, we'll rent out the house and everything, and we just want to kind of shoot around the area, not in the house because the house wouldn't fit. And they were very accommodating and even offered like, if you need help with the catering and all this stuff. It was sometimes, like you said, just reaching out. You never know what you're going to find. Yeah. And so we shot every single location, and everybody else was like, oh, that place looks amazing. It's so different and everything. And it was all in and around this 100 acres of desert centered around the Calmada Boutique Resort, which is a beautiful place. I still think they rent it out today. So
yeah, they do. Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And did it seem like things were falling into place quite easily, or like, do you have any crazy stories from on set where something went crazily wrong, or funny or?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, all right. Well, the first thing that happened was it's supposed to be really hot, but when we get there, it's literally hailing. So
what?
there's like, rain. Yeah.
No.
The
out
first,
in the desert.
The first day. Yeah, the only day in the year I think that these guys got rain, and it was when we got there.
Because we'd gone to check it out a week before.
And it was super hot.
Yeah. It was super hot. It was like 90 degrees, and we go a week later, and there's like little snow. Yeah, so we had to improvise. Our whole shooting schedule sort of got flipped upside down. So instead of starting outside, we started in the interior of the truck. And it's hilarious because if you look at the raw footage of that, you can hear the little hail or whatever hitting the metal of the truck, and people's teeth chattering because they're so cold. Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. Our truck kept getting stuck in the sand. That was poor calculation on our part. Yeah, if you're gonna go out in the desert, make sure the truck has 4x4 capability.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of sand there, huh?
Yeah.
So then, because everyone obviously they're probably from LA. How'd you get everybody there? Everyone drive themselves?
Well, since we rented the resort, everybody slept there.
So they got to stay there. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a small enough crew that, we put up a couple of people at a hotel in, 29 Palms? Yeah. That was close by, people that preferred that. But for the most part, the crew and the cast just stayed there. So we woke up the next morning and everybody was ready to go. Yeah, it was like a camping vacation. It was great. Yeah.
Oh,
that was really fun.
How fun.
Yeah.
And where can people see it? Is it online, or are you still guys still doing a festival circuit? What are you guys doing?
We're close to wrapping up the festival circuit. I think we have maybe one more in the book.
Waiting to hear back from one or two. But now we're gonna sort of make a big push towards, the feature. So.
Oh, you're gonna do a feature version?
The feature version was always the plan. We had the feature script first before we even had the short. And at the time, the short was meant to be sort of a proof of concept for the feature because we knew that at the time, the story was, a little foreign to people in the desert and supernatural. They didn't quite get it. So we needed to do a proof of concept. Now, movies like Sicario and stuff show the world more, so people it's a little easier for people to understand what we're talking about. But at the time, when we were writing the script in 2014, it was a little more of an alien concept. So we decided to do the short because of that. Yeah, and now we're pushing forward to try to get the feature done. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
So in answer to your question, we haven't published the short online yet, so only film festivals can you see it, but pretty soon I think we will. Yeah. You can see the teaser, though.
Do you think if you put it up now, do you think it's going to hurt getting funding for the feature because now you're kind of leaking a little bit of what it's about, or do you think they won't care?
Another good question. It's kind of you get a little paranoid in this industry a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I would maybe wait. You know what? You should maybe cut a trailer.
We do have a trailer cut by
unless the short is not in the feature.
The short.
You know what I'm saying?
The short is like the premise of the feature. So if you see the short, the feature is just sort of an expanded version of that premise.
But are those exact scenes in the feature?
No, not necessarily. There's a couple of similar types of scenes, but not those specific ones. Yeah, but it does.
Guys, I would maybe not put it online.
Okay. Well, right now we haven't. The only thing that's available is the teaser, which I don't think really gives you much. It's like 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, because
really
you just don't too much of it out there, and you don't want some investor to go, well, wait a minute, you've given everything away already.
That's true.
You never know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. That's why it took us even a while to even get into the festival part of it, because we were at the beginning sort of just kind of privately, showing it to people, and then at the end of the day we decided, you know what, at least with the festival circuit we can get like
contact,
exposure,
and feedback. We needed to know if what we had made was good or not, and so far the feedback has been amazing. We've been very
great.
So happy.
What do you mean good or not? Good or not? It's great. I think we might have a caller. Hold on a second.
Oh, cool.
Hi, you're on Shriekfest Radio.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Fuck My Pussy, Suck My Dick, Eat My Schmegma, Smell My Shit, Fuck My Pussy, Lick My Balls, and Lick My Boner, Eat My Tits.
Wow.
Oh, that was lovely. Oh, my God. That is not cool.
Can't get away from the trolls even on...
Do you know, in 5 years of doing this radio, that has never happened? Oh, my God.
Bring out the crazy, I guess.
You guys brought out the crazy. What's going on? Before we run out of time, where can people find you? Are you on Twitter, Facebook, websites?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, so if they just type in my name, they should see me. And I don't know, Dave.
Yeah, promotion-wise, I'm not very visible.
Borderline does have a Facebook page, so if they
there you go.
If they Borderline, the short movie, I'll email you. I can email you the site, because off the top of my head, I'm blanking out on it.
Okay.
But there is a Facebook page, so if they do Borderline the movie or something like that, it should appear.
Okay. And now I know that Kieran, you're on Twitter, but David, you are not. And so you guys have some homework, because Twitter is extremely important. Extremely. I know it sucks. It's another stupid thing you have to check periodically, but I'm telling you, it will help you to get this feature made. Because here's the thing with Twitter. On Facebook, you have to, someone has to accept your friendship, right?
Yep.
On Twitter, you can follow anyone, which means if there's a director out there or a producer out there that you really love, you can follow them. And often, if you message them or tweet to them, they respond. And you can get advice or whatever it may be, plus you're building your fan base. And if you can go to investors and say, look, we've done these shorts, both Kieran and I, or both our Borderline Twitter account has X amount of followers. I know it sounds silly, but it matters. Because if an investor can say, well, they get a built-in fan base already. They got people waiting for this movie. So what I would do is get those accounts going, start, especially because this is a horror movie, start following anybody and everybody in horror, start tweeting about it, periodically post that 30-second trailer, drop little tidbits of information about it, where it's screened, things like that. Start building up that fan base, because I am telling you, if you go to investors and you say, look, we've got 20,000 followers, it's going to make a big deal. And you guys should be doing this anyway, because you're making these great films, and your fans need to know where you're at. Right?
Well, sounds like Yeah, it's great advice. Absolutely. I mean, we're going to take it to heart, and I'm going to make sure Kieran does it.
What?
Good. Only Kieran? No. David, this is homework.
So I think
this is homework for both of you. And Kieran, I know you have an account, but you're not on it very much.
No, that's true. I'm not on Twitter all that much. Yeah.
So you're both in trouble, both of you. So you both have homework. and here's where I can help you. Mm-hmm. So when you have some little tidbits of information you're getting out to your fans, tag at Shriekfest, and I will send it out to my followers who, look at that, they happen to be your target audience.
Perfect.
Right?
Very
so
cool.
I will help you guys promote. You just got to let me know. Okay?
Okay.
And seriously, and if you want to post anything on our Facebook page, feel free. I am here to help get the word out for your project. You are in the Shriekfest family. You're never getting out.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, and you run a great festival, by the way. We really love
thank you.
Anybody who hasn't gone out there, do go. It's a great festival.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really nice having you guys and your film, and I'm sure you had people coming up to you telling you how great it was.
Yeah, there were some very kind people coming up.
Yeah, namely Mom.
Yeah.
But, no, seriously, the feedback has been great so far. It's given us a lot of confidence to go out there and actually promote the feature for ourselves. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's especially watching a horror film with horror fans, it makes all the difference.
It does. It really does.
Well, cool, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was, I knew a few things about you guys, but I didn't know all this stuff. So this has been really exciting, and thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Sure. And once you get that feature going, I'll have to have you guys back on so you can promote.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll get that.
All right.
We'll get that as soon as we can.
Yes, exactly. Get moving. Chop, chop, guys.
Yeah.
Well, Kieran, I am glad you are not in genetics. And David, I'm glad you found your way into film. You realized that writing was a career, and I'm glad you did. All right, guys. You guys have a great rest of the night, and thanks so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good night, guys.
You're listening to Live Paranormal Radio at liveparanormal.com.
Great show tonight. Thank you guys for listening. Lots of great tips there. I especially love the part about, he was going into one field and was strong enough and courageous enough to tell himself and everyone else, this is not for me. And I know that's extremely difficult to do. And I know there's a lot of you out there who struggle with things like that. What's the worst that can happen? So you have some people say, are you kidding me? You have some people laugh. You have some people doubt you. So what? I mean, this industry is full of doubting people anyway, right? So get up that courage. Pursue what you want to pursue. Or, even if you have to, okay, let's say you're stuck in your job, you can always pursue it secretly on the side for a little while until you get up the guts and the courage to tell everyone. But you got to do it, guys. Pursue those goals. Write them down. Go after them. Make baby steps. Have a great night. We're about to run out of time. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for joining us on History FM Radio on liveparanormal.com and history.fm. From paranormal to the unexplained history, it all happens here. Looking to enhance your radio experience? Participate in live interactive chat 24/7 with our radio show hosts and other like-minded people on www.liveparanormal.com, the only interactive social chat room supported by full interactive media. Stop by now and join in on the fun.
Today's sales leaders face a difficult task, selling the right products at the right time through the right channels. A new 3-day program from Harvard Business School Executive Education addresses this problem directly. Join us on the Boston campus in August for Managing Sales Teams and Distribution Channels, where you will discover strategies that can lead to the best sales performance. Learn more by clicking the banner or visiting hbs.me/sales. That's hbs.me/sales.